Hey YouTube, it's Cherise here again, back at it again with another video. I feel like it's been a long time no see. I haven't really been uploading since 4th of July, I think was the last time I uploaded a video. So it's been over a week, a little bit over a week. But that's because I have somebody else living with me and I have a 1-bedroom apartment. So they're basically in the space that I normally record in. So to respect them and to cohabitate peacefully, I've just been trying to record when they're not here. So anyways, this is going to be a foundation update slash review, kind of, sort of. Anyways, I have 3 specific foundations that I gave sort of bad reviews to. I thought they just weren't compatible with my skin, that they just weren't going to work out for me. But those of you that know me know that I like to try and make things work because I don't like to return things and I don't like to waste my coins, okay? So the 3 foundations I'm talking about are the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra 24-hour wear, and I wear the shade 540 Suede W. This matches my skin quite perfectly. The next one is the Milani Conceal Plus Perfect 2-in-1 foundation plus concealer in the darkest shade number 14 Golden Toffee. And lastly, the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Plus in the shade 80, which is cognac, I believe. So these are 3 foundations that I've struggled to make work, meaning no matter what I did, no matter what primer I used, they would always get oily within like an hour or 2 hours. They just would break up on my skin. Like, they just didn't look good. They weren't long lasting like they claimed to be. Or at least these 2. But basically they just weren't working for me. Like, it was too much work to keep them looking good and looking fresh. So I have discovered that with all 3 of these foundations, if I don't use a primer and if I apply them to skin that's clean but moisturized and kind of has been chilling for a little bit, meaning that my natural oils have already like kind of come through a little bit, these look so good. They last a long time and they look really great. So no primer on moisturized skin. So I woke up at 8 a.m. It's currently 10:37 and I cleansed my face and moisturized it, and I have nothing else on my face, as you can see. And this is what works best with these 3 foundations. So these 2 have actually been making their way into like my favorites for the summer, surprisingly, because of how good they look. Also, I found out that the best way to apply these 3 foundations is not with a beauty blender or a dense brush, just for me. It's more of a fluffy brush like this one. You see how I'm barely touching it, but it moves? And I just washed it, so there might be some water. Yeah, it's still a little bit damp. But with a fluffy brush instead of a super dense brush or a flat top kabuki brush. So it gives a really airbrush finish, and I don't have to use nearly as much product. Like, I just feel like it blends so easily and effortlessly. So I'm going to use the foundation that I gave the worst review to, which is the Milani 2-in-1 Conceal and Perfect, which has become, like I said, one of my favorites so far. So if you're wondering about my hair, this is a day 5 wash and go that I've been wearing up in a puff, but I think I'm going to wear it kind of in this natural state. I'll probably pick it out some. But I'm going to put on my cat ears that my sister picked out for me to push my hair back and away from my face. There we go. And let me get a mirror. Gonna get a hand mirror. Alright, so like I said, my face is cleansed and moisturized. And I cleansed it and moisturized it 2 hours and 40 minutes ago. It's now 10:40. So the foundation I'm going to use is the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. It's supposed to be a medium to full coverage, lightweight, oil-free formula, long-wearing, water-resistant, and sweat-proof. I live in South Carolina, and today I'm going to be going to the airport. I'm going to be kind of running around a little bit, and then I have a staff meeting. And let me tell you, I've worn this 2 times without a primer, and it lasted literally all day. And it looked so good. So I take back all the negative things I said about this. I actually really like this. And I only really need like 1.5 pumps. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So I like to just apply a pump straight to my forehead. That's usually the first place I like to apply it. And I'm going to use this domed BH Cosmetics 113 brush to blend it in. And I kind of just take it and spread it out a little bit. You can see I took it down here. Basically, I kind of stretch it as far as I can. And again, this is the shade 14 Golden Toffee. So this is one pump, and you can see that I have kind of like half my face covered. And then what I like to do is take another pump. See, that was more of a full pump. The first one always comes at like half a pump. And then I take another pump and I apply it everywhere else, and you can see I'm kind of dabbing it over where I didn't apply foundation yet. And I'm using very light pressure and circular motions to blend and buff it into my skin. And I do go over my eyelids. I go everywhere. And for me, I like a good medium plus coverage. I don't need it to be super full coverage because I go in with powder, of course, since I do have oily skin. So if my imperfections are still peeking through just a tiny bit, I don't mind that. But this one covers almost everything with 1.5 pumps. That was essentially 1.5 pumps. So like I said, the first pump I always do isn't really a full pump. But the second one that I put on my cheek was a full pump. All right. So that's what it looks like with 1.5 pumps. You can see that it gives a nice even coverage, and right now it looks dewy, but once it actually starts to set after a few minutes, if you just let it sit, it kind of gets a little bit bad. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to go ahead and set it with a powder, and a powder that I've been loving for this summer. Can we just look at this? How beautiful it looks. And I think it's a good match for my skin. It's a little bit warm for my skin, but it's not bad. And oh, a powder I've been loving has been my L'Oreal Pro Matte Infallible Powder in 800 Cocoa. So that's what I'm going to use to set this. If I can find her. Yes, here it is. So this is the powder, been one of my go-tos. Also, I love the Black Radiance Soft Focus Finishing Powder, and I love the CoverGirl Lasting Matte Powder as well. Well, this has been my go-to, and the brush I'm going to use is going to be this NYX brush. It's like a multi-purpose brush. And even as we're just sitting here, can you see how this area has kind of set? The places where my skin is more dry or normal, you can kind of see that it has more of a satin finish to it compared to the places where I'm oily. It still looks very shiny, but it actually sets to a nice finish. What is this? I see an area that I didn't blend very well. My hair was in the way over there. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal Pro Matte Infallible Powder and NYX multi-purpose brush. I like this brush because it's really big, so it's easy to apply powder. And what I've been doing is I'll press where I'm oily and then swirl everywhere else. And this brush is also quite fluffy. It's not super dense. I find that using fluffier brushes has been giving me a more flawless finish. And you can see that once I apply the powder, how it mattifies instantaneously. So yeah, I've really been liking this foundation now that I know I don't need a primer with it, or it works best without a primer. And then I swirl everywhere else. And this is basically how I've been doing my foundation lately. I've been using this foundation a lot and the Lancome a bunch. So I actually wore the Lancome for my most recent photo shoot that I did, where I'm in the white dress. Their pictures are on my Instagram, and I put them on my Snapchat a couple days ago. But basically, my most recent 2 or 3 pictures, I'm wearing the Lancome foundation with no primer and this L'Oreal Pro Matte Infallible powder. And like I said, I just like to swirl it and sweep it everywhere else where I'm not super duper oily. But definitely press into the oily areas. You can also press anywhere that you need a little bit more coverage. So let me see if there's anywhere I kind of want some more coverage. So this is essentially how I do my foundation every single day. I do these 2 steps for my foundation, and then I highlight and usually do blush. I don't contour every day. I don't even highlight every day, but normally I will at least wear some blush just to put some color and dimension in my face. So that concludes this video. I just wanted to show you guys how good the foundation looks, and look how nice it looks with powder over it. Like, my skin looks so nice, and it doesn't look too much. Excuse this. That's right in the center of my forehead. It's that time of the month, so. But yeah, just look how even and nice my skin looks with this foundation, and it's not like super dewy. It's not super shiny once you add powder to it, and this will stay looking really nice and matte. And even if I do sweat, because like I said, I live in South Carolina, it's so hot, even if I do sweat, it still looks really good. For about, like, I feel like I don't really have to blot until like 5 or 6 hours. So if you have this foundation and you thought it was trash, try it without a primer and see if it works, and try it with a more fluffy brush when you blend it onto your skin, and see if that changes how it works for you, because I know how it feels to waste your money or to buy a product and it doesn't quite work out. You feel like you wasted your money. So that's just my suggestion. And like I said, this method has worked for the Milani 2-in-1. It's worked for my Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Plus, and it has worked for my Lancome Teint Idole Ultra. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share with you guys, is how to make a way to make your foundations that are supposed to be matte and long lasting and sweat proof, how to make them work if they haven't been working for you. Sometimes you don't need a primer. I feel like this works great with just moisturized skin, like I've said. So that's it for this video. Let me know if you try this with a foundation that wasn't working for you before, and if it changed anything. Also, let me know what you think about how it looks on my skin. I think it's a great color match. I think it just looks so nice and pretty and beautiful. So now I'm going to go on to finishing my face and making maybe a tutorial. I don't know. I'm doing something real basic today, so I don't know. But yeah, that's it for this video. Again, thank you for watching. I do appreciate your support, and I'm trying to make shorter videos. So with that being said, bye YouTube, and I'll see you in the next one.